Shalom everyone, this is Shlomo Katz, and you're listening to The Soul of Israel on the landofisrael.com and the landofisrael.com network. What a beautiful privilege it is to be back with you. It's been a few weeks, and to be joined together with my soul brother, Rabbi Ari Abramowitz. Good morning, my dear bro.
Shalom Aleichem, Rav Shlomo.
We must reveal to the thousands and thousands that are tuned in right now that we had the privilege of spending Shabbos together in your home.
That's true. It was on the farm. Jeremy, we had dinner by him and lunch by us, but it's not ours. We're custodians of it. It belongs to Am Yisrael, really. I feel that way strongly.
Baruch Hashem, my children had such a special time and going to feed the goats, the sheep with you, and on Shabbos afternoon.
It was really unforgettable.
A lot of high moments. Baruch Hashem, thank God. How are you feeling this morning?
Thank God I'm feeling well.
You're in the zone?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Especially after a chabur like that.
Right, we just learned together. We learned together this special Torah that we're right now in the middle of understanding how lucky we are that we have the power of speech, which differentiates us from animals. But that's for another time.
Right, but for me, I find that Torah study has become clear for me that everyone wants quality Torah study, quality time, but I think it's only the product of quantity time. And so I'll go to a lot of shiurim, but to have a shiur like this, it's like the gift that is the consequence of putting in the time. And then for me, just everything that happened there really
very special.
Yeah, it's like penetrated my
Baruch
soul.
Hashem, wow, so happy to hear.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Ashreinu. So I wanted to discuss something this morning, as it's also Rosh Chodesh Adar, and it's a very special time for renewal, to look at things anew. When it comes to these parshiyot, the portion of the week is the parsha of Truma, where it's basically been like the beginning of this book of Exodus, of Shmot. It's been like Shmot, Va'era, Bo, Bishalach, Yitro, and then it's Mishpatim, Truma, Tetzaveh. Kitisa, we get a little bit of action because there's Chet HaEgel, the golden calf, but then it's Vayakel, Pekude. Now those snores were, God forbid, literal. It just means that there's this little kid in us that wants to still be excited.
You're just being honest about what a lot of us feel. Yeah. Correct.
But it's not just me that has this sense of, what happened over here. We were so high, and then the Torah brings us to such mundane things. It's all the commentators speak about what's called going from Igra Rama to Bira Amikta, from such a high, lofty place of being on Mount Sinai, seeing voices, experiencing godliness in realms we've never, ever had and never will have till Mashiach comes. And what's the portion that follows Yitro? Ve'ela mishpatim asher tasim lifneim. These are the laws, these are the judgments when your ox gores, when your neighbor, when you steal, when your possessions cause harm, if you curse a parent, illicit behaviors, obviously things that we have such an emphasis on when it comes to sexual morality. Wait a second, I was just on Mount Sinai. Now you're talking to me about this? So I want to share a teaching from the Rebbe of Ishbitz. The Ishbitzer Rebbe was a Hasidic giant, not literally because he was actually about 5'1", but he was a giant in depth and in love for the Torah. Rabbi Mordechai Yosef Leiner, the Ishbitzer Rebbe. And he also points out that Am Yisrael, even though there's no chronological integrity, which is a term I learned from Rabbi Ari Kahn many years ago, there's no chronological integrity to the Torah because these portions of the week, we're not sure what happened first. Did the golden calf happen first? Did the parsha of Truma happen first? What's going on over here exactly? We know we have a Torah that tells us about Yitro, flying high, then Mishpatim, which are all these laws concerning when my possessions cause harm. And then we have Parshas Truma, which is to build a Beit HaMikdash, to build Mishkan, a tabernacle. A temporary dwelling, and then we learn from this the laws of building a permanent dwelling. What's going on over here? So listen to this wild teaching. Wild teaching. Ari, you have a dog, right?
I do.
Scoop.
So
the following teaching might scare the daylights out of you, or it might make you feel very proud.
I don't know why I just got such a kick out of the fact you know my dog's name. Everybody knows Scoop. Your daughters love Scoop.
Scoop, and Jeremy has Dreidel.
And
And another animal.
Sparky.
Sparky. Yeah, Sparky's...
A specimen.
Freak the daylights out of my children, Erev Shabbos. Anyway, if you walk into someone's house and the dog comes and barks at you and scares you, according to our mystical tradition, dogs and animals pick up on the subconscious of their owners. Not the consciousness, the subconsciousness of their owners. So if a dog comes and barks at you when you walk into a house, what it's really saying is, listen, the person here that's coming to greet you, the owner, my owner, he might put on this show, this conscious show of, oh, I'm so happy you're here. Inside, he can't wait for you to leave.
Or there's something up subconsciously there. I don't know if that's...
That's
I'm
just
thinking
one
about
example.
the people Scoop barks at. I love Jeremy.
It's not about they bark at. It's who's Scoop's owner.
Right.
That's what it's about, meaning what's going on over here. The Parsha of Mishpatim, last Shabbos, speaks about when your possessions cause harm in the world. And Am Yisrael realized that there was an expectation from God that we should become so refined and so holy that we live lives where our own possessions won't be able to harm other people. That they felt that was almost impossible. How could they do such a thing? Meaning, the 10 Commandments, believe in one God, keep Shabbos, honor your parents, don't covet, don't kill, don't steal, don't carry God's name in vain. All those things are actions that man can take responsibility over doing them, because it's what we call bar yecholet. It's in man's capacity to work on himself and do these things. But then the Torah talks to me about what happens to me when my possessions cause someone harm. In Parshat Mishpatim, they're like, what do you mean? That's this world. That's material. That's possessions. It could be tables. It could be animals. It's this world things. How could I be achrai? How could I be responsible that my possessions don't harm other people? How can I sanctify the kol? That's really what the question is. How can I sanctify materialism? Things that are possessions. So what's incredibly deep is that the Ishbitzer Rebbe says, Parshat Truma and the gift of receiving a commandment to build a sanctuary was the answer to this. How so? Is everyone as puzzled as you look right now? Could be, right? How is the commandment to build a sanctuary an answer to a person's wondering how can they sanctify their material world? Because what does it take to build a sanctuary? It doesn't just take kavanas, deep thoughts. What does it take? Action. It takes the world. It takes hammers. It takes nails. It takes drapes. It takes pegs. It takes all the most mundane materialistic things to create something holy in this world. God's whole vision of this world was that he can have a dwelling place down here. But God knows what this place down here is like. It's not angel world. It's a world where things happen all the time. We subconsciously hurt people all the time. The answer to how do I make sure my subconsciousness is also one with God is how much do I put my heart and soul into all the most mundane things in the world. The Ishbitzer Rebbe says you take a thing like building a Mishkan, taking one peg in the Mishkan and doing it with all your heart and soul. You take one plank and you carry it with all your heart and soul for the sake of a bigger picture. All the kedusha that's in your kavanas will seep into your subconscious as well. And the more that your subconscious is permeated with good thoughts, the more that all the things that are your possessions cannot harm other people. How's that?
It's chazak. I remember thinking before I had moments of clarity where I realized you are what you do with your free time.
Correct.
You know, your free time, that little extra bit of time, that mundane little bit of time, what do you do with that?
So here he's saying exactly that. What are you doing with all the free moments in between the good things that you're supposed to be doing? It's that's what life is all about. What are you doing with all those, like, where it seeps inside? I'm doing a lot of good things. What are you doing when you have an extra moment to do something out of this world?
And when you're doing that, why are you doing it? You know the story about the 3 workers, right? One,
Please share.
They're all doing the same action, and so they ask the kid, they ask the worker, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm hammering in a nail." The other says, "Oh, I'm building a staircase." The other says, "I'm building a staircase to the altar in the sanctuary of the one living God." They're all doing the same action.
Very good.
But what's the...
So I guess the person that's building what's the last level? Say it again. I'm building a staircase.
Staircase to the altar in the sanctuary of the one living God.
That person that has the awareness of why they're doing what they're doing, according to our mystical tradition, their ox won't go off goring. You hear?
Oh, no.
That's what we're saying. You won't end up enslaving anybody, even subconsciously. Meaning, do you know how often we hurt people with our words without even being aware that that what we're saying is hurtful to them? It happens all the time. Consciously, I would never say something bad about you. Subconsciously, can I say that my words won't hurt you? How do I know? I never know. But there's a way. What do I do with those free moments? How much awareness do I put into small acts of chol, of materialism, like building a mishkan? The more I invite Hashem into those places, the more my subconsciousness, i.e. also my possessions, won't end up harming anybody, because that seems to be what the Torah wants us to get to. That my consciousness and my subconsciousness are both one. Did you ever wake up in the middle of the night on a Friday night and you were or early on a Saturday morning and you were so gone that you turn on the light?
Yes. Going into the bathroom.
Right, going to the bathroom. Wait a second. So you could say to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm such a low yid. I'm so you could feel guilty about it this night." No, you shouldn't feel so good about it. But what you can say is Hashem is showing you an indicator. How much does Shabbos really seep into you? Because your subconsciousness is part of you as well. So this is what Am Yisrael is receiving here in Parshat Truma. The ability to make a gift for Hashem. How? Ve'yikhuli, take some of me. Ve'yikhuli, take me into all the places which I need physical labor, physical force. Because you'll end up having me permeated through the all of you. And you won't be able to ever wake up on Shabbos and turn on the light, God forbid, because you won't be, your subconsciousness will be one with your consciousness. Just like consciously, I would never choose to hurt you. Subconsciously, unfortunately, sometimes I do fall into that trap. Our dreams in life is that us being in this world, that we can be people that never harm anybody. That would be a beautiful thing. Like if God says to me, "What's one of your greatest dreams?" My existence here should be a blessing, but that I don't bring harm onto anybody. Yes, that's correct. But even deeper is that I have something to do with that. So the Ishbitzer says, "V'yikhuli truma, take me." When you're thinking of doing something in the world, you won't be able to end up harming anybody even without knowing it. And when you live in that state of mind, you become a people that say they truly care about each other. Not only that I don't say bad words about you, my whole life is aiming towards the reality that I'm incapable of ever saying something bad about you. So that's the teaching of the Ishbitzer Rebbe for this Shabbos of V'yikhuli Truma. So I give you a bracha, Ari, and I give myself a bracha as well. Our subconsciousness, that was like, usually we say subconscious is asleep. We refer to that very much. Like in our dreams, we should be dreaming of holiness. We should be dreaming of seeing good in people, because that's what we're doing while we're awake. Our consciousness and subconsciousness should be one. And by living like this, you know what you end up doing? You end up building that what's called a Beis HaMikdash in your heart, where God says, ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocham. That's where I can dwell. That's where I can be. So I have to say, I see a beautiful temple right there. I'm looking at your chest right now. I'm looking at your heart area. I see a beautiful temple, and they keep on doing it because Baruch Hashem, your dreams for Am Yisrael are beautiful. They're beautiful. But they become more beautiful by inviting Hashem into them. So l'chaim to that.
Amen, amen.
Please keep in touch with us, friends. Shlomo@landofisrael.com, Ari@landofisrael.com, And what's the other person's name? Oh, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
At the Land of Israel.
Oh, if I could just throw in one little
yeah,
idea.
Please.
I just heard it the other day. I shared it with you this morning, but it just hit me.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
So this is the leap year. So we have 2 Adars. 2 Adars. That means how many days in Adar? There are 60 days in Adar. I just realized this may be more complex to explain. 60 days in Adar. So the Rebbe supposedly said, the Bavitcher Rebbe said that if you're able to be truly, deeply happy on all of the days of Adar,
60 days,
then your tzarot, your problems are batel b'shishim, are nullified among 60. Meaning, if you have a drop of milk in a vat that's beyond 60 amount of that milk, even though it's meat, 60 beyond it, it's nullified.
So that's, what a bracha.
So all of our problems should be nullified in the joy that we feel this Adar.
Amen. Chodesh Tov, everyone.